One day, the pain will arrive. The question is, which pain will it be? The pain of waking up early, or the pain of waking up disappointed? The pain of discipline, or the pain of regret? The pain of growth, or the pain of staying exactly where you are? Because life doesn't give you a choice between pain and no pain. Life gives you a choice between two kinds of pain. One builds you, the other breaks you. And every day, whether you realize it or not, you're choosing. Listen carefully, because this is where most people get it wrong. They think avoiding discomfort is saving them from pain. It's not. It's simply postponing it. The workout you skip today becomes the body you hate tomorrow. The book you don't read today becomes the opportunity you miss tomorrow. The risk you avoid today becomes the regret you carry tomorrow. That's how life works. The bill always comes due. Always. You can delay it, ignore it, pretend it's not there. But eventually, life collects. That's why successful people think differently. They understand a truth most people spend years running from. Everything valuable has a price. Confidence has a price. Discipline has a price. Success has a price. Respect has a price. Freedom has a price. And the price is usually paid in advance. Not after. Before. Before the reward. Before the recognition. Before the result. Most people want the reward first. Then they'll work. Then they'll sacrifice. Then they'll commit. Life doesn't work that way. Life asks for the payment first. And that's where people quit. Because they want certainty. They want guarantees. They want proof. But growth demands faith. Faith that today's sacrifice will become tomorrow's strength. Faith that today's effort will become tomorrow's opportunity. Faith that today's struggle will become tomorrow's victory. The strongest people understand something powerful. Temporary pain creates permanent strength. Temporary comfort creates permanent weakness. Read that again. Temporary pain creates permanent strength. Temporary comfort creates permanent weakness. That's why discipline matters. Because discipline teaches you how to suffer for something. Most people only know how to suffer from something. They suffer from poor choices. From missed opportunities. From wasted years. From broken promises. But disciplined people suffer with purpose. Every sacrifice means something. Every struggle means something. Every difficult day is building something. Building character. Building resilience. Building identity. And identity changes everything. Because eventually, the disciplined person becomes strong enough to handle challenges that break average people. Not because life became easier. Because they became stronger. That's the reward. Not a perfect life. A stronger you. A wiser you. A more capable you. That's why suffering is not the enemy. Meaningless suffering is. The suffering of regret. The suffering of knowing you could have done more. Could have become more. Could have tried harder. That's the pain that never leaves. The pain of discipline ends. The pain of regret grows. Year after year. Memory after memory. Opportunity after opportunity. Until one day, you realize the hardest thing in life isn't failing. It's knowing you never truly tried. So ask yourself. Right now. Today. Which pain are you choosing? The pain that builds your future? Or the pain that haunts it? Because one of them is coming. The bill always comes due. And when it arrives, it won't ask what you wanted. It will ask what you were willing to sacrifice for. Regret doesn't arrive loudly. It doesn't kick down the door. It doesn't announce itself. It waits. Patiently. Silently. For years. Then one day, when the room is quiet, when the distractions are gone, when nobody is around, it speaks. And when it speaks, it asks questions. Questions you cannot escape. What happened to the dreams you once had? What happened to the goals you swore you would achieve? What happened to the person you promised yourself you would become? That's why regret hurts. Not because of what happened. Because of what never happened. The chances you never took. The words you never said. The opportunities you never chased. The courage you never found. The life you never lived. That's the real pain. Most people think failure creates regret. It doesn't. Inaction does. Failure teaches. Failure strengthens. Failure gives you lessons. But regret? Regret gives you memories. Memories of hesitation. Memories of fear. Memories of moments where you could have acted, but didn't. And the worst part? Regret becomes heavier with time. A missed opportunity at 20 feels different at 40. A wasted year feels different after a decade. Because time gives everything perspective. And perspective reveals the truth. The truth about what mattered. The truth about what didn't. The truth about what you should have done. That's why successful people are willing to be uncomfortable. They're willing to fail. Willing to look foolish. Willing to struggle. Because they understand something powerful. Temporary embarrassment is cheaper than permanent regret. Temporary failure is cheaper than permanent regret. Temporary discomfort is cheaper than permanent regret. Everything is cheaper than regret. Because regret follows you. It sits beside you. It reminds you, again and again, of who you could have been. That's why courage matters. Not because courage guarantees success. Because courage eliminates regret. When you give everything you have, you can live with the outcome. When you take the chance, you can live with the result. When you truly try, you can sleep at night. But when you never try, when fear makes every decision, when comfort becomes your leader, that's when regret takes control. And regret is a terrible leader. It only speaks after the opportunity is gone. After the time is lost. After the moment has passed. That's why you must act now. Not because now is perfect. Because now is available. This moment. This day. This opportunity. You have it. Right now. And one day. You won't. One day this chapter will close. One day this chance will disappear. One day this season of your life will end. And when that day comes, you will either be grateful for your courage, or haunted by your hesitation. That's the choice. Not success or failure. Courage or regret. Action or regret. Growth or regret. Because at the end of the day, regret is not the result of failing. Regret is the result of never giving yourself a chance to succeed. And that's a pain no achievement can erase. So if you're going to suffer, suffer while building. Suffer while growing. Suffer while becoming. Don't suffer later, wondering what might have happened if you had started today. Everybody wants greatness. Everybody wants success. Everybody wants respect. But very few people want the price that comes with it. That's the truth. People see the victory. They don't see the sacrifice. They see the confidence. They don't see the years of doubt. They see the success. They don't see the countless failures. Because the world celebrates the outcome. But greatness is built in the process. Built in the dark. Built when nobody is clapping. Nobody is watching. Nobody is believing. That's where champions are made. Not on the stage. Before the stage. Not in the spotlight. Before the spotlight. Most people are in love with the reward. But greatness demands commitment to the process. And the process is not glamorous. It's repetitive. It's exhausting. It's lonely. It's uncomfortable. Some mornings you'll wake up tired. Some days you'll question yourself. Some nights you'll wonder if it's worth it. Keep going. Because that's the price. The price of becoming someone different. The price of becoming someone better. The truth is, every version of your future has a cost. The future where you stay average has a cost. The future where you become extraordinary has a cost. The future where you quit has a cost. The future where you persist has a cost. Nothing is free. Nothing. The only question is, which price are you willing to pay? Most people choose the cheaper price today and end up paying a much heavier price tomorrow. They choose comfort now, then pay with regret later. They choose excuses now, then pay with missed opportunities later. They choose distraction now, then pay with disappointment later. Life always collects. Always. That's why discipline is powerful. Discipline allows you to choose your pain. To suffer now. So you don't have to suffer later. To make sacrifices today. So you can enjoy freedom tomorrow. To endure struggle today. So you can build strength tomorrow. Most people don't understand this. They think discipline takes something away. It doesn't. Discipline gives. It gives confidence. It gives self-respect. It gives control. Because every time you do what you said you would do, you build trust with yourself. And self-trust changes everything. Once you trust yourself, you stop doubting every challenge. You stop fearing every obstacle. You stop running from discomfort. Because you know something important. You know you can handle it. That's real confidence. Not arrogance. Not ego. Evidence. Evidence that you've survived hard things before. Evidence that you've kept going when quitting would have been easier. Evidence that you've earned the right to believe in yourself. And nobody can take that from you. Not criticism. Not failure. Not bad luck. Because it's built from experience. Built from suffering with purpose. That's why greatness is never accidental. It's intentional. It's chosen. Day after day. Decision after decision. Sacrifice after sacrifice. Until one day, people look at your life and call you lucky. They call you gifted. They call you talented. And they'll never see the truth. The early mornings. The lonely nights. The discipline. The struggle. The sacrifices. The price. Because every great life has one thing in common. Someone was willing to pay a price others refused to pay. Someone was willing to suffer now, instead of regretting forever. And maybe that someone is you. The hardest battle of your life will not be against another person. It won't be against your competition. It won't be against your circumstances. It will be against yourself. Against the voice in your head that says, skip it today. Start tomorrow. You've already done enough. Nobody will notice. That voice is dangerous. Not because it's loud. Because it sounds reasonable. That's how excuses survive. They don't sound like excuses. They sound like logic. Like comfort. Like permission. And every day, that voice is trying to negotiate your future. Trying to trade your potential for temporary relief. The scary part, Most people listen. Not once. Thousands of times. Until excuses become habits. And habits become identity. Then one day, they wake up wondering why their life never changed. The answer is simple. They lost too many invisible battles. The battles nobody saw. The battles that happened early in the morning. Late at night. In quiet moments. Moments where nobody would have blamed them for quitting. But those moments mattered. Because character is built in private. Not public. When people are watching, anyone can look disciplined. Anyone can look committed. Anyone can look motivated. But who are you when nobody is looking? Who are you when the applause disappears? Who are you when the excitement fades? That's the real test. Because success is not built on your best days. It's built on your worst days. The days you're tired. The days you're frustrated. The days you doubt yourself. The days you want to quit. Those days reveal who you really are. Most people think discipline is about motivation. It's not. Discipline is about identity. It's about becoming the kind of person who follows through. Regardless of mood. Regardless of circumstances. Regardless of feelings. Because feelings change. Standards don't. That's why winners focus on standards. Not emotions. They don't ask, do I feel like doing it? They ask, who am I trying to become? And then they act accordingly. That's power. Real power. The power to control yourself. The power to do what needs to be done. Even when every excuse sounds convincing. Every day you win that battle. You become stronger. Every day you choose discipline. You become harder to break. Every day you keep your promise. You build self-respect. And self-respect is priceless. Because once you respect yourself, you stop settling. You stop tolerating mediocrity. You stop accepting less than you're capable of. That's when your life begins to change. Not because circumstances changed. Because standards changed. Most people spend years trying to change their results. Without changing their standards. It never works. Raise the standard. The results will follow. Raise the discipline. The confidence will follow. Raise the effort. The opportunities will follow. Everything begins there. With the battle nobody sees. The battle between comfort and growth. Excuses and responsibility. Temporary relief and long-term fulfillment. And every day, you cast a vote. A vote for the person you're becoming. The question is, when this year is over, when this chapter is over, when this life is over, who will those votes create? A person filled with regret? Or a person filled with pride? Choose carefully. Because the battle nobody sees creates the life everybody sees. One day, the noise will stop. The distractions will fade. The notifications will be silent. The excuses will have nowhere left to hide. And you'll be alone. Alone with your choices. Alone with your habits. Alone with the life you've built. That's the day regret knocks. Not when you're busy. Not when you're distracted. When you're honest. Brutally honest. Because honesty changes everything. It forces you to look at the truth. The truth about your effort. The truth about your discipline. The truth about the promises you made to yourself. And whether you kept them. Most people avoid this moment. They stay busy. Stay distracted. Stay entertained. Because deep down, they know what they'll find. They'll find unfinished goals. Unfinished dreams. Unfinished potential. The ghost of the person they could have become. That's what regret really is. It's not pain from the past. It's pain from possibility. The possibility you ignored. The possibility you delayed. The possibility you abandoned. And nothing hurts more than unrealized potential. Nothing. Not failure. Not rejection. Not mistakes. Because failure means you tried. Failure means you were brave enough to step forward. Failure means you were in the arena. Regret means you never entered. You stood outside. Watching. Waiting. Hesitating. Until the opportunity disappeared. That's why regret feels so heavy. Because it comes with unanswered questions. What if I had started? What if I had believed in myself? What if I had kept going? What if I had given everything I had? Those questions can follow a person for years. Sometimes forever. And the frightening part is this. The life you want is often hidden behind the work you're avoiding. The confidence you want is hidden behind the discomfort you're avoiding. The success you want is hidden behind the sacrifice you're avoiding. Everything valuable is on the other side of something difficult. That's the rule. Always has been. Always will be. Most people know this. But knowing isn't enough. Action is. Action separates dreamers from achievers. Action separates wishful thinking from reality. Action separates regret from pride. Because pride comes from effort. Not results. Effort. Knowing you showed up. Knowing you tried. Knowing you gave everything you had. That's why some people lose and still sleep peacefully. And others win but remain empty. Because deep down, they know the truth. The truth isn't about outcomes. It's about whether you honored your potential. Whether you became who you were capable of becoming. Whether you answered the call on your life. Or ignored it. Every person has a choice. To suffer the pain of growth. Or suffer the pain of regret. To face discomfort now. Or disappointment later. To build now. Or wish later. And the difference between those two futures is often one decision. One commitment. One promise. One moment of courage. So when regret eventually knocks, and one day it will, make sure it finds no room in your house. Make sure it finds no unfinished excuses. No abandoned dreams. No wasted years. Give it nothing to feed on. Nothing to remind you of. Nothing to haunt you with. Because you chose the harder path. The path of discipline. The path of sacrifice. The path of growth. And while that path may hurt today, it will save you from a lifetime of wondering what might have been. In the end, there are only two pains. The pain of discipline. And the pain of regret. That's it. No third option. No shortcut. No escape. Everyone suffers. The successful suffer. The unsuccessful suffer. The disciplined suffer. The distracted suffer. The difference is not whether you suffer. The difference is why. One pain has a purpose. The other has a memory. One pain makes you stronger. The other makes you wish you had been stronger. One pain builds your future. The other keeps reminding you of the future you lost. That's why this decision matters. More than you realize. Because every day, you're choosing between those two pains. When you hit snooze. When you make an excuse. When you delay the work. When you avoid the challenge. You're choosing. And when you show up. When you stay disciplined. When you keep your promise. When you do what needs to be done. You're choosing again. The future is built through those choices. Not once. Daily. Quietly. Consistently. Most people spend years searching for an easier path. There isn't one. The mountain is the path. The struggle is the path. The sacrifice is the path. Everything you want sits on the other side of effort. The confidence. The strength. The respect. The freedom. The growth. All of it. And the price has always been the same. Discipline. That's why the strongest people aren't always the most talented. They're the people who accepted the price. The people who stopped negotiating with discomfort. The people who understood that temporary pain creates permanent growth. They didn't wait until it felt easy. They acted while it was hard. They didn't wait until fear disappeared. They moved despite fear. They didn't wait for motivation. They built habits. And those habits built a life. One day, years from now, you'll look back on this season, this chapter, this moment, and you'll see exactly where your future was decided. Not in some dramatic event. Not in some magical breakthrough. But in the small choices. The invisible decisions. The moments when nobody was watching. The moments when you could have quit. But didn't. That's where greatness is born. That's where character is forged. That's where lives change. So if life is going to demand pain either way, choose the pain that pays you back. Choose the pain that teaches you. Choose the pain that strengthens you. Choose the pain that creates a future you're proud to live. Because regret is expensive. Far more expensive than discipline. Regret charges interest. Year after year. Memory after memory. Opportunity after opportunity. Until one day, the bill becomes unbearable. Don't let that happen. Don't spend your life wondering. Don't spend your life wishing. Don't spend your life looking back at the person you could have been. Become that person. Now. Today. While you still can. Because one day, the opportunity to change will disappear. One day, the chances you're ignoring today will no longer exist. One day, the future will arrive. And when it does, make sure you're standing there with pride. Not regret. Because at the end of everything, the people who win are not the people who avoided pain. They're the people who chose the right pain. So choose wisely. Suffer now. Grow now. Fight now. Become now. Or spend the rest of your life asking yourself one question. What would have happened if I had started?